everyone! I've spoken about this topic before, but I couldn't believe it. It was a while ago, it was in 2018. So I'm going to talk about luxury, how I afford to buy it, how I save for it. Do I have a technique? Because actually the technique that I have would work for you on anything from a house deposit to a car. I've used it for everything and it really works. As well as, does my husband mind when I buy this stuff? And was that it? I think so. So I want to start with how I afford this stuff. And a lot of you already know because you've been with me a long while, but I have had a couple of new people recently and I've seen you writing in the comments, oh, what does she do? So I'm going back, I would say that I only really got to a point where I could afford to buy luxury when I was around about 26 or 27. The only reason why that happened is because I got a promotion, I was earning more money, I don't have any dependents. David and I, we don't have kids by choice, we don't have any debt, we've got a mortgage, but that's about it. So from that perspective, right now we're quite agile, whereas back then I was swamped with a lot of university debt, which is what I've spoken about before. But I got to a point with this job where I was able to start paying it down quite significantly. And the times that I would buy luxury were in the year whenever I would get a bonus. So the bonuses they could be quite good. You might get one at Christmas, or sometimes you get a few throughout the year. Month to month, my salary was going to pay down my debt and pay down my expenses. And really my bonuses were the things that I used whenever I got them to either save them and use them for me, or to, go and spend them on a bag or something like that. But it was rare. It wasn't, when I spent on bags, it was probably one a year, if that. And then the more senior I got, the more I earned. I thought that I would specifically talk about how I do it now, because I buy a lot more regularly now, and social media, it's quite a good place for making you feel inadequate sometimes. Even me, I'm a blogger, but I love social media, and the amount of times you think, oh, how is that person doing that? It can pull you down. So I always want to be really honest about this, because there's a reason why I can do it, and it's the job that I do. So my day job that I do, and it's a business that my husband and I have built up since like 2012 or something, and it was never like this at the beginning. It was really slow and it's been really painful, and yeah, that's why I'm able to do it. But you never know what's going to happen in the future. There might come a point when I can't, but for now, that's how. How do I save money? So even going back all the way to that point where I told you I got that promotion, so 26, 27. So when I was like 26, 27, I got a promotion, and the money was really good. What I would do to save, and I still actually use it now. Now I just chuck savings into a saving pot, and I just tend to leave it there until whenever. But back then, because I had targets such as, paying off stuff, I used the attached visuals that I'm going to put here. So my version of them are normally scribbled on a bit of paper and they're really messy, but I thought I'm going to make them actually look nice, so that for any of you watching, I've used this technique for saving for a car, saving for a mortgage deposit, saving to pay off debt was the first thing I used it for, but I also use it to save to buy stuff that I might like. And I'm going to put that below. There is actually two. One is like an expenditure thing that I use, and then one is a savings thing. I quite like the expenditure one because it lets you see all of the direct debits that you're paying. A lot of them you probably don't even know you're paying, like Netflix. And when you buy things via PayPal and then it signs you up to a monthly contract where you're paying £7 a month, not enough for you to notice, but it's been going on for years. It's a really good way. If you go through your bank account, you write all of the stuff down in this expenditure bit of paper. It works really well. So that's the first thing.
I completely forgot. I need to explain that document on the right if you download it. This document is what I used to use if I was saving for something. So I take the price of whatever it is I'm saving and I write it in there. I then divide that amount by what I can feasibly afford to save per month towards it. And then I use that barometer at the bottom. I write kind of the months or the years or whatever works for you. And I colour in the barometer according to what percentage I'm at in saving that money. And it's just, I quite like it as a visual because it really shows progress and it really helps me keep on track and not spend the money on junk I don't need.
Does my husband mind? No. And the reason is, my husband and I both work for our company. So, and David's not the kind of person to scrutinise my spending and make comment on it. Likewise, I would never do it to him. And we're both very sensible with it, and we both have a shared bank account, so you know, when you're married, it doesn't really matter, it all comes out of the same one pot. So no, he doesn't mind. He's never actually been the kind of person that if I come in and I've bought something, if anything, he's like, what did you buy? I want to see. He's just curious in that perspective, but he's never been the kind of person that's like, why have you done that kind of thing, which is really nice. And I could not be with someone who was different to that. I couldn't. I hope that bit that I covered about how I afford it and the company, like what I do for work, I hope that's in depth enough. I'm just thinking about it now. The problem is, because I've spoken about it openly so many times, a lot of you, I'm worried, will be really bored at hearing it again, but it's really for the people that are new. So yeah, that's how I do it. I was really lucky to get really good promotions once I hit like 26, 27, and then David and I reached a plateau where I had got as senior as I could, and I could either go and join another company and be less senior and work my way up, so you know, the next level. But I always find with jobs, there is a ceiling to how much you can earn associated with your job title, and once you've reached that ceiling, you can't really break above it. So that's why David and I thought, well, let's give this a try. You know, we both know what we're doing. We both work in marketing, and we both thought, let's give it a try. And that's been the great thing for us, because it's allowed us to kind of break that glass ceiling, if you like. But yeah, I was worried about talking about it for those of you who are like, I've heard this before, but for anyone who's new, that's kind of it. So COVID-19, how has this affected how I'm spending? Because it actually really has. The number one thing is I'm not going shopping to the shops, because although they're open, I can't be bothered with getting all jazzed up in the mask and the palaver of when you get there. It's not a relaxing, fun experience anymore. And I mean, I would go, but I just can't be bothered. That's what it comes down to. I was actually talking to a friend of mine yesterday who said the same thing. And actually that friend went out somewhere and then got there and didn't even have the masks, had to go home, and then by that point they didn't bother going back, they just stayed at home. And so that's, from that perspective, I'm not going out and shopping. I am shopping online, but I'm not buying the way that I was last year, because last year I had somewhere to wear it and this year I kind of don't. But yeah, so I have cut it down just because I can't be bothered, but I am trying to make more of an effort in wearing stuff and enjoying it. And you know, I have days where I really dress down because I can't be bothered and I'm not going anywhere, but then on other days I try and make more of a habit or more of a thing to actually get dressed up. COVID, from the point of view of work, thank God, it's been okay. And this is the thing with COVID, is you just don't know which way it's going to go in, and I do think there's going to be a recession, definitely, definitely. But you've just got to, you know, you've just got to keep working and stay savvy. I do feel in a lot more control. If I worked for a company, I think I would be feeling nervous, just because you're not in control of, you might not know how the company's doing, and therefore you don't know how secure you are. And I do I am really grateful for that now. We were actually talking about that the other day, that if we work somewhere at the moment, it would be kind of a bit worrying. But yes, that's quite good. So from that point of view, things have changed. And also the money that I'm not spending this year, including the money we are not spending this year on taking a holiday, that is all going into our savings, just in case, you know, you need anything to back up on. I'm just curious to know how you guys are spending. I know some of you have said, yeah, I can't be bothered to spend because there's nowhere to go, or I'm worried about my job. But then others have been like, well, you know, I'm gonna go and buy the bag and do what I'm gonna do, because what else, you know, you're gonna wait around forever and see what happens. So I know that a lot of you are kind of on all sides of the fence. But for anyone new, I hope that this has answered your questions. And for anyone existing, I hope this hasn't been really boring to hear it for like the millionth time. But it is definitely one of my #1 questions. Thank you, all of you, for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.